My name is Mikael ben Israel, and beginning to my left is
Uriah ben Israel.
Yehuda ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
and this is Yahweh's New Moon Feast. The keepers of the house of lights are dedicated for spreading the righteousness, love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh Elohim of hosts, by and through his son Yahshua, the Messiah, the Lamb of Yahweh, the King of Israel, and the High Priest and the Redeemer and Savior, whose name be blessed forever. We are here to teach and proclaim the gospel of Yahshua, who magnifies the law of Yahweh. The title of this new moon feast is If I Were Only a Child Again. Again, that title is If I Were Only a Child Again. And as my good others always say, get your Bibles out, something to write with, take notes, however you receive this. Now, my elder Uriah will go ahead and read the Shema and authorize this new moon feast.
Hey, thank you, my brother. And the Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 and 5. Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one Adonai, and thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. That's the Shema. Now we'll go into the book of Numbers 28. To see where we get this authority from to keep this new moon tonight. Praise the Most High. Numbers chapter 28, verse 11. We're going to go all the way to 15. Verse 11. And in the beginning of your months, ye shall offer a burnt offering unto Yahweh, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deal of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil for 1 ram, and a several 10 deal of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering unto 1 lamb, for a burnt offering of a sweet Savior, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahweh. And their drink offerings shall be half an hin of wine unto a bullock, and 3 parts of an hin unto a ram, and a 4th part of an hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year, and 1 kid of the goat for a sin offering unto Yahweh shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. We're going to take you to Psalms 83, verses 1 through 4. The book of Psalms 81, verse 1. Sing aloud unto Elohim our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the Elohim of Jacob. Take a song and bring hither the timbrel and pleasant harp with the sorcerer. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. For this was the statute for Israel and the law of the Elohim of Jacob. Let me take you to one more place, because these things we're going to be doing in the kingdom of heaven. Ezekiel Chapter 46. We're going to be reading verses 1 through 6. Ezekiel Chapter 46, verse 1. Thus saith the Adonai Elohim, the gate of the inner court that looketh towards the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Shabbat it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate, and the priest shall prepare his burnt offering, and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahweh in the Shabbats and in the new moons, and in the burnt offering that the prince shall offer unto Yahweh in the Shabbat day shall be 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without blemish. And the meat offering shall be an ephah for a ram, and the meat offering for the lambs, as ye shall be able to give, and an hin of oil to an ephah. Verse 6. And in the day of the new moon it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs, and a ram. They shall be without blemish.
That's it, no?
Praise God.
Yeah,
Praise
God
God
for that, man.
Praise God for that, my elder Uriah, for authorizing new moon. And again, the class is If I Were Only a Child Again.
Wow.
And before I start this class, I'm not. I feel like Moshe. I'm not eloquent to speak. I don't even feel worthy of this. And praise y'all for the brothers here, because this is more of a discussion. This is not a single man. We all have one structure and different spirits, and maybe you may see something I don't see. That's what makes this so beautiful.
That's right.
This is a peaceful home. We're around peaceful brothers, and we have one goal.
Praise God.
So having me do this new moon, what can go wrong?
Nothing, brother. The spirit take over.
We about to see, but
nothing's gonna go wrong.
we
Praise
noticed the
God.
mics haven't changed, and I wasn't given a gold mic. So
He has plenty of jokes. Great humor.
hey, I just give him the spirit. So let's go ahead and start with this class. It's a lot to get to this class, and the way I did this class is not only for us to read, because we'll be reading out the book, because I have to verify what I'm writing with this structure here. But it's more of relating, because you have to compare. You can't just read this and can't compare it to experience to anything.
That's right.
What are you learning? How is that tool going to benefit you out in this real world?
Okay.
So, let's go ahead and start with the class. Sometimes we spend our entire lives trying to return to our youth. What did we master as children that we struggle with as adults? Children are more confident, more courageous, and enjoy life far more intensely than us. Let's look at a few things that we can learn from our younger selves to bring clarity and joy into our adulthood. My elder Uriah, can you read Psalm? Right now we're going to go to Psalms 118, verse 24. Again, that's Psalms 118, verse 24. There's a lot of things you can learn from a child, and you don't want to miss the little things. Those little things you're able to see, that's Yahweh allowing you to see that.
That's so true.
And you're being allowed to see that for a reason.
That's right.
All right. Shoot. Hold on. I might want to get there instead of just talking.
What was that? Psalms 119?
Psalms 118, verse 24.
Thank you, my brother.
Let me get there.
Yeah, you're so right. I like how this is going.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested already, man. You got me captivated.
Hey, praise y'all, because the spirit I have is not mine. I'm not responsible for none of this. So let's
a disclaimer is not going to help you. So Y'all, we give it to you. It's yours.
Praise God.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to read Psalms 118, verse 24.
Okay.
Psalms 118, verse 24. This is the day which Yahweh hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Every day is a fresh start. Children don't carry baggage from one day to the next. They start fresh. They always start fresh. How often do children see themselves in the creative form? So I wanted to go here because we all have children, and I want you all to help me with the discussion. We have a few things we're going to touch, but as in adulthood, how many times, like, how can you move forward if you're carrying baggage? You know what I'm saying? Because you should learn from that and be able to higher up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, but children, when you look at a child, man, I don't care what that child did yesterday. It ain't like, I don't care if it's in trouble. Next, there's a fresh start.
That's right.
It's a fresh start. So I want to get you perspective because, you know, we all do the best to walk in this spirit. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to elaborate on that. How? Okay, that's a good place to start. How would that lead us astray if we're not using the day as a fresh day and starting you and learn from yesterday?
Yeah, you know what, my brother. In my childhood days, you know, I usually go to the reservoir. You know, and my parents, they were like always concerned that I was going to drown. You know, and they said, "Oh man, I don't want you to go back to the river or to the reservoir."
You don't remember that. You didn't remember that they told you not to go. You did it again.
Yeah. The next day, oh, I'm back at it again.
Yeah.
They will put the stick on, but guess what? I find some way to go back there the following day. Yeah. So because that's what you said. We don't carry, you know, the previous day, you know, in our life. We just continue to do things because we're a child. We're gonna do stuff.
And what I want to clarify from the viewers is that don't get this confused with a unruling child. I'm taking this as the fresh, like a child sees a day as a fresh start, like that. Like that's the spirit part of it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They starting fresh. You know, I want people to see that. Did any of you brothers want to add to it?
Well, you know, brother Mikael, I think a child comes to things at a level of complete trust, and they live in the moment. I think that's what they're in the moment.
Yeah.
They're not projecting themselves into the future about an incident, and they're not really looking back. They're really in the moment, and they're right there, and that's where I think Yahweh wants us to be, in the moment. Because why you worry about the future? Who told you you're going to be in the future?
You don't even know if you're going to make it home.
Yeah, only thing you should be concerned about is the present.
Okay.
So I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Praise Yah.
Yeah, praise God.
I think like with children, I think the adults miss the creativity aspect.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that. That's well, you know what? That's the spirit.
Children imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like you get caught up with your vain imagining, but children imagine and they're creative.
That's
They're
right.
trying to figure out, how do I fix this? How can I accomplish this?
Right.
You know, even if they can't communicate at that time, they'll still do it. But they have that desire, and they're always wanting to learn. That excitement for learning is what we as adults have to. We've lost, a lot of us, and not so much learning, but if you're not reflecting, how are you learning? You know, and how do you measure it? If you don't reflect back and see,
Right.
you know,
because you may do the same thing over and over again.
and that's insanity.
Yeah. Just like Denzel said, his mother said, movement doesn't mean progress. Because you could jump up and down all day, you ain't getting nowhere.
Right.
You know, so but you know what? I love the way the Spirit brought that to you. The next one, I want you to, because you dabble in this, I want you to dabble in this more because the Spirit didn't give me a verse for this. So that was that way that the Spirit gave you that. So that's the first thing we talked about. Every day is a fresh start for a child. You know, we miss that. You know, because you bring in baggage, like keeping a positive mindset is tough.
Well, when you say that there's no limitations needed for a kid, it's like no baggage and there's no limitations.
Yeah, it's like a fresh new start. Like I get a
I like that.
new piece of paper to start fresh.
Mm.
I don't have to erase. It's a fresh, you know what I'm saying? They don't bring that. I want y'all to, like, you can learn a lot from children.
That's right.
Okay, and it's, okay, so we got, so number 2, creative pursuits are fun and good for you. How often do you see children losing themselves in creative projects for hours at a time?
Right.
Drawing, playing with clay, building a sandcastle with attention to detail. For some reason, as we get older, we stop seeing creative activities as worthwhile. How many adults, aside from artists, draw on a regular basis? How many play with clay or finger paint just for the fun of it? Sing out loud, Oh, no, I went on. But yeah, the creative process. Actually, when I was reading, I mean, I was thinking far ahead. Like, you know, when I go out to dinner with my children, I make like the first thing I grab is the crayons. Like, I need something to keep me occupied. You know what I'm saying? And then but I think as adults we tend to lose just like you was talking about, Obi. And I want you to dive in that, because what brings to mind is because like one thing you told me was if there's two things that you should have got out of this pandemic. You should have seen what you should be learning or what you are. You see what I'm saying? To benefit. So, and that's what we lose, that creative process, that creative, you know, that creative process to make things. You see what I'm saying? We lose that. That's how we
Passion.
that passion that we lose as a child that children has mastered. And anyone want to delve in that?
As far as the creativity?
Yeah, the creativity. As adults, we lose that creativity. So we lose that, because you know, children, they're always adventurous, their creativity. Like, we lose that.
Well, you know, I think I said it before that the children have no limitations until you place a limit. And I think as they grow, we begin to put limits on them. That you can't go here. You can't be that. That's not possible. And we say these things, sometimes we don't even know we're saying them. But I remember when I was younger, a great example, I started to read the Bible. And my mom's a Christian woman, you know, she's passed. But I remember one day, I was just kind of, I didn't know, I was just opening the Bible, I was just reading different things. And she said something to me like, why are you reading that Bible so much? You're going to go crazy or something. Like, because that was their mindset.
Crazy in love, though.
But they didn't see that in their mind, you know, you go to church on Sunday, but you shouldn't be reading the Bible all the time. There's something, it's too complex. But that kind of had me, I took it, but that moved me a little bit. It kind of took me away from trying to even open that book a little bit, to be honest.
See, that's part of that baggage. I didn't mean to cut you over.
No, that's
that
fine.
sounds like some of the baggage that you were saying. We carry baggage
into the first
as adults.
Yeah,
exactly.
And some of it's based off of our childhood experiences.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Our childhood experiences.
Yeah. Right. And some of us are not able to, I guess, grow past that or reconcile with that in a sense to be able to utilize the experience and accept it for what it is, and just be able to grow from that as opposed to making it be baggage.
Right.
You know, there's a difference. You go through what you went through, but you're not going through it right now.
Right.
So there's no excuse. You have to, you know, you got to make the best of the situation.
I think we're so innocent, Brother Obi, Nick. You're right. The children are so. It's that innocence. It's that purity.
Yeah.
And it only takes a little bit to taint it.
Yeah.
One word, one. You know, with my daughters, my children, you know, that we're more conscious of that, and I have to catch myself, and even when you say something, you have to be able to come back and even apologize.
Yes.
Immediately, so you can. It won't just sink into their little.
And then you have to show them how to apologize. You know.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm glad. My elder Yehuda. Can you please read? Take us to Hebrews Chapter 13, verse 5 through 6.
Okay.
This was second to the third thing that we lose as adults.
Hebrews 13.
Yeah, Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5 through 6.
Okay. Hebrews 13, 5 through 6. Got it now. Okay. Reading from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5 and 6. Verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee, so that we may boldly say, Yahweh is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me.
Be courageous. Sing out loud. Dance when you feel like it. A child's life feels limitless because they are not confined by fears of failure or humiliation. They march forward with hope and determination because they don't know any better. They haven't been beaten down. They haven't experienced failure. They embrace life and all it has to offer with open arms. You know what story comes to mind? David, King David.
Oh,
King David.
Yes.
Who the circumcised heathen? And like he was like that was that light. Who else stepped up?
When he came and brought the ark back in.
Yeah.
The wife had a problem with that.
Yes, sir.
She was like, "Oh, why you dancing naked before them little slave girls? What you doing?"
But she didn't understand.
Yeah. What's your issue?
Yeah, that's correct. Not being afraid, and I think as adults we miss that because some of us we lack things. Like we lack how to converse. Well, I think conversate. They brought that back into the dictionary, so I can say conversate, converse. Well, whatever. But I think we lack that, and it bring being courageous. You untouched that a few days ago because you talk like how you speak, how some like we don't spot. We talk. It comes off of being arrogant. No, I just know what I'm talking about. You know, and when we talk about this word, like Jay Electronica, like I'm standing on the shoulder of a giant. That's why I speak like this.
Okay.
You know, so touch on that if y'all the courageous that we lose as adults. Because you have to be bold in this word, like you know how you looked upon. Oh man, here you go reading that book. Here you go doing this. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be courageous and stand on your own. So what do y'all have to say about that?
If I would say, let's go to Hebrews Chapter 11 and see what the book says regarding this. Now, because when we're saying being courageous, bold, well, you can do that, but you would still have to, if Yahweh gives you instructions or commands you to do something, you have to be bold and courageous to carry this out. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of Yahweh. You serve a mighty Elohim.
Yeah.
So yeah, for you to even approach unto him, that takes courage, because Yahweh is going to hold you accountable for your actions. So let's just read verse 1 through 6.
What chapter is that again? I'm sorry.
Hebrews chapter 11.
Yes.
Hebrews chapter 11.
Okay.
Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Elohim, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it being dead, yet speaketh, and by it being dead, yet speaketh. And by it he being dead, yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Elohim had translated him before his translation. He had this testimony that he pleased Elohim. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So action is required.
Yes.
And that takes courage, and to be bold with it, to declare Yahweh's word in the midst of in a world full of darkness. That takes courage.
Yeah.
And boldness.
Yeah, because you're gonna stand alone at times.
That's real.
Yes, sir.
But go ahead, brother.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was looking at, when that boldness comes as a child, you say you don't know any better, or they don't know what to say. They don't have any social restrictions, and they may call a spade, because that's all they know. But when you're walking in this word, you have to be courageous, like you said. You got to be courageous, because and I wanted to share something with that boldness in Galatians chapter 2, and this is what I think this is critical when we are dealing with other men. Sometimes men, other brothers and sisters, may feel that they don't know how to deal when you come to them in a straightforward, ethical manner about an issue. So this is an example in Galatians Chapter 2 and in verse 11. And this is Paul dealing with Peter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now Peter's the head of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yahshua gave him, said, you're gonna, this is yours. Whatever you bound on earth is bound in heaven.
That's right.
So, but
Gave him authority, man.
But Peter had to be, he wasn't beyond being accountable. So you got some people don't want it in the flesh. They ain't got nothing. They ain't never heard. They never saw Yahshua. But yet, don't say nothing to me. But listen what Peter did, what Paul did. Verse 11. But when Peter was come to Antioch, it talks about him, what he was doing. Because, we can go further up, but we just read here. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision, the Jews. 13. And the other Jews dissembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation. But when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if thou being a Jew livest after the manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as though the Jews? But Paul, the Spirit's on Paul. He said, you're to blame. I don't care. I know Yahshua put you in charge. I'm going to step to you too. Because I know it says you step right according to the truth. So a child would do that and say something. They might say, well, you're lying.
They're not worried about the consequences.
Exactly.
No.
If you're standing up for what's right.
Just what's right.
That's what they know. They just know this is the right thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You might say, don't tell anybody what's going on in my house. All kind of things.
Yeah.
Quiet, what you saying about it. But the child just spoke it.
Yeah.
Was it wrong?
No.
But if we're men now,
Well, just be careful what you say around children. That'll clean that up real
I
quick.
clean up. But now when we're men in this word, we know we got to speak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I should have said something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have. But that's all I wanted to bring up.
Praise y'all for the Spirit. It looked like you mentioned Yahshua, and I want to get to my big brother, and it seemed like y'all all in my class.
I know
But Cephas had to have had to be courageous to be able to receive correction.
Now that's the other end of it.
Yeah.
Did that not take humility? I mean, he was given the keys.
He didn't cuss him out. Cuss him, did he?
Now she would told him, say, you're gonna deny me, man. And he was like, nah, no, I won't. He was he's the same one.
Yeah. It's that humility. You got to take reproof. You got to be accountable to somebody.
Yeah.
We're all flesh. We're all men.
Yeah.
So you got to be accountable to brothers. But you can't be accountable if you're afraid. You're afraid. And he's afraid to say anything to me. So you'll set me up for failure because you won't come talk to me. Or you know how I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
It may
That's
not
not
be.
that. If he can't speak, he might as well be mute if he ain't gonna speak when it's time to speak. That's like a dog that don't bark. What good is that?
That's right.
There's a time for all things. We understand that, but
That's true.
if you see wrong and you don't speak, don't you become accountable for that?
I think you do. Nick, but this is your show.
Yeah.
It's your thing.
Hey.
So I'm going to let you go on with it, but you're definitely going to be accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a tennis match. I'm enjoying it. But I get you. Obi. Yeah, let's continue. And again, the title of this class, which I keep on forgetting, is If I Were Only a Child Again.
Right.
Obi, can you read for us Proverbs 17 and 22?
Yes, sir.
Now this, I think I want to get to the meat of it. So we're not gonna. I'm just gonna read through this and just say little things so we get to because I want to hear what our big brother have to say about all this.
Proverbs 17, verse 22.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get there. Proverbs 17, verse 22. Yes, just that one verse.
Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones.
Okay.
Laugh every day. A day without laughter is a day wasted. children have the beautiful ability to find joy all around them.
Mm-hmm.
They see silliness everywhere.
Right.
You know, and that's one of the things I think we lose as adults. Like me, I joke, man. I gotta laugh. Laughing just feels so good, you know, and it helps. It keeps you young. But I just wanted to touch on that. Just that. My elder Uriah, can you read? Can you read for us 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8.
Verse.
Oh, hold on. What's first? Like, dang, yeah.
1 Timothy chapter 4.
Hold on. Okay, I'm First Timothy chapter 4, verse 8.
Verse 8?
Yeah.
We're in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. For bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that now is, and of that which is to come.
Now, people got to understand that verse. Because some people just, I guess, super Hebrew, like, you don't have to exercise. Your body just going to have to work the way it is. But you got to understand, our forefathers walked a lot. That walking helps. And it says exercise profit a little. A little is better than nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Be active. Play, and be active. Play, energize. And play, energize, and live in us. I don't know what you want to write. It eases our burden. It renews our natural sense of optimism and opens up to new possibilities. Mm-hmm. When you were young, playing outside was the highlight of your day.
That's right.
You would run and chase your friends until you were out of breath. The thought of exercise or daily fitness never crossed our minds. It was fun. It is happy. It is a happy talent to know how to play. And I just wanted to touch on that because people take things too seriously. Like, well, whatever you taking seriously ain't got nothing to do with me. You carrying something that, like I said, that energy ain't for me. And people got to notice that everybody's going through something. What we talk about, everybody trying to protect their energy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not disturbing your energy and not vexing you like we talked about during Shabbat. Treat me like I treat you.
That's right.
But let's move on. Who's next? My elder Yehuda. Can you read for us 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12?
Okay. Yeah, brother. I see where you're going. I'm enjoying that just to reflect on that. Sometimes you think, particularly as you get older, and you begin like myself, 1 Peter chapter 4.
Yeah, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12.
Yeah, we get older. I'm here. Think about those old days.
Hey, we're all.
Yeah, we're all getting there.
Man, you know what? I didn't dream of getting this old, man. I was like, what's going on?
Wake up one day.
Yeah, time flies, you know.
Definitely. So we're in the epistle of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12.
Yeah, just read that one verse. I know it's cutting it off, but
that's fine.
Yeah, just that one verse.
As you say, sir. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you.
Nurture friendship. Children find true joy while playing with friends, and they love making new ones. Now, one thing I wanted to address, and I've seen this, like, you're going to have to be around people to get along with people. There's no way you're going to be locked up in a room, and you're going to know how to deal with all the personalities you're going to have to deal with. It doesn't work like that. Like when you stick, I know people like you have to know how to give because the world is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? You have to know people's energy, how they vibe. Like that's how. So that's what I wanted to point out because children took the joy just making friends. You know what I'm saying? They be in the sandbox. Hey, you play in the sandbox, we friends. Okay. Brother Obi, I want you to read 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 20 to 58.
Chapter 17?
17. Yeah, we're going to talk about David. David set the standard for a lot of stuff, how to rule as a king,
right?
how to fall and get back up.
That's right.
Accountability. Didn't use his title to check like who you talking to. I'm king. You just the pride. He didn't like you remember when was Nathan?
Yep.
Yeah, Nathan said, now you have, and then he said, oh, I have sinned against Yahweh. He took accountability.
Exactly.
He didn't say, who are you? I'm a king and a prophet. How dare you talk to me like that?
Right. Exactly.
You know,
take him out
because he feared Yahweh.
Fear Yahweh.
Yeah, you don't play with Yahweh.
But what you just all those traits you listed, brother, is that of a leader. That's a leader. He was not just a king. He was the king, but he had those traits of a leader.
That's right.
All those things you mentioned, that's the leadership. That's the kind of man you will follow because you know that brother is looking out for the best interests of you and the rest of the people. Because you know he loves you.
So that's Israel without guile then.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, okay.
You did that.
I just knew more of that.
Yeah,
okay.
you did that somewhere.
Yeah, he's good at bringing that back. He's very smooth.
Bring it back. All right, so we're going to read 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 20 through 58. And I don't want y'all to just read. I want you to see the spirit in this, not the knowledge, and connect it with the class. What are you supposed to, because we were just talking about, this is going to lead me into number 7. So just see if you all can get the spirit that I'm trying to bring into this. So Brother Obadiah is going to read 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 20 through 58.
Yes, sir. Verse 20. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench, and as the host or army was going forth to the fight, and shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage, and ran into the army, and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them.
We got a not sure who crowned him champion, but we got a so-called champion on the scene.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So let's see how David, like, oh man, David, he wasn't tall, pretty boy, like light skin. You know how, but he's a killer. Like there's a reason, like there's a reason. There's a reason why I'm this size. There's a reason why I'm built late. There's a reason why, because hey man, yeah, like you said, what's a joke to you is death to me. Like folks don't play.
Right.
But I'll continue reading. Verse 24.
Yes, sir. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid.
Whoa. But you know what? I always look at things more than one way. Like we have a law against it. Like if you're scared to go to war, I mean you just stay back. So there's mercy in that.
Well, that, I mean, when you look at that, I guess when you get to it, ancient men were not that tall. They probably got to a certain, I forgot the height. But when you're looking at this cat, and you're like the average height might be 5'5", maybe, I don't know.
5'6".
That'd be the dangerous ones.
Yeah, but this, so
Giant.
yeah. So I think this is interesting because Saul was taller than the average.
But Saul didn't have that, like David.
Right.
If we're comparing.
Right.
Go ahead, Obi, continue.
Yes, sir. Verse 25. And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living Elohim?
Oh shoot, that's oh man, that sounds like that might be the hero at the end of the story, just by his approach. Like he's courageous, like continue to read.
It's that spirit.
Is
it really him? It's that spirit God put on him. But they're locked in.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Put it real.
Praise God. Verse 27. And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, And Eliab's anger was kindled against Dawid, and he said, Why camest thou down hither? Why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thy heart. For thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And David said, What have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which Dawid spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine.
Okay.
And Saul said to Dawid, Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth.
Excuse me, you know what we said? That limitation? Put that limitation on.
Try to stun it, right?
You're a child.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
No.
I mean, that could have. What if he was a man? I mean, but like you say, he had that spirit.
That spirit.
On it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could have discouraged him.
That was it.
The king, he's the king,
Right.
telling him, "No, you can't do this." I mean, who is he to speak back against the king?
Exactly. Maybe you're right, King. I'm sorry. I spoke out of place and walk out the tent.
Exactly.
Just walk out.
You know what? I was gonna wait till Obi finished this, but let me read this, and then this to kind of put it back into context. Now, this is what we lack as children. Be the hero. When a child tells you a story about school or sports, they are usually the hero of their story. The world revolves around them. As we age, we don't want to be conceited or egotistic, so we downplay our accomplishments and achievements.
Okay.
We don't want to brag, but in doing so, we often slip to the side of self-deprecation. We put ourselves down to make others feel better or to be more relatable. Modesty becomes an admirable quality, and we start to convince ourselves of our own mediocrity.
Well,
Let's talk.
Well, brother, you don't put it down.
Let's talk, and then we'll finish. Because right now, David is the hero. Like he's unstoppable. Like he knows something we don't know.
Right. Let me go.
And they
Turn me
try-
loose.
they try-
Yeah.
Calm him down.
They try to turn that flame.
Really?
Yeah.
Yahweh, I'm standing on the shoulder of a giant. Like I'm going. Like if anybody go ahead. Oh, we continue.
But you know
I'm
what?
sorry.
You know what? It's just like a mindset.
Mm.
You understand? Your mind already made up. You know, being as a child or youth, that he was, he think that, look, man, I'm unstoppable. Nothing can stop me, especially when he has the spirit of the Most High.
Yeah.
But it was so compelling, though, to the people, the soldiers.
Right.
They were like, hey, let's take this brother. Let's take this little brother to the king.
Bring him to the king.
Because he's talking. That's Israel. They know something too. The people, they like, man, what this little guy talking about? We got to take him. Is he crazy? But we got to take him to the king. But you just never know that boldness, like you just said, brother.
But he said, for
Courageous,
example, when you're explaining that, you said, nah, he had to take him to the king. You know what comes to mind, which we're going to get to? You know what I'm talking about.
We in this class. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, nah, you're supposed to be in this class. Y'all wrote this. I'm not responsible for none of this. The gold mic is here and no mics is changed. Still got that. So,
Just cover my mic like that.
yeah. So, go ahead. Oh, we could continue.
Praise y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
It's getting good.
Verse 34. And Dawid said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living Elohim.
So what you got?
Wow.
So what you get? Like he told you, like, this is my resume.
Of course.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm laying it out.
This is my resume.
Praise y'all.
And just like, let me read verse 36. And thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he has key end of the verse. He has defied the armies of the living Elohim. You don't care about your life at that point. You don't care because just like, I'm not sure if this is in this one, but just like when Abraham took his only son, you know what I'm saying? He took his only son and
He's about to do that.
We're about to sacrifice.
it's the same thing. It's that courageous because I know my God can resurrect my son.
Right, right.
You know, he said like you'll see to come out of him, but it's just that courageous because I trust Yahweh.
I'm gonna come out victorious.
Exactly, because I followed his word. I like Abraham, the law. I'm sorry to cut. The law wasn't given back then, but he showed his faith by his works. And what was his work? Righteousness and obedience.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Go
Yeah,
get him.
you just say the word. I mean,
That's it.
as a child, you know, he was obedient to his father's word.
Yes.
You know,
Until death.
Until death.
Until death. And even that story, I'm glad you pointed it out. I say that like that was different. First of all, the wife didn't ask anything. The son was like, Dad. And he was just so innocent when you read the story. Dad, where is? And he's like, and he said, Son, Yahweh will provide.
We're gonna get to that. Y'all willing this Shabbat, and that's a powerful story.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I
love that.
Praise God.
All right, we continue reading.
Yes, sir. Verse 37. David said, moreover, Yahweh that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine.
Praise God.
Faith. Right? And Saul said unto David, Go, and Yahweh be with thee.
Now that verse right there, who did he glorify?
Yahweh.
You know, that's why that topic, that little sensitive topic about, I remember it was asked one time about guns. You see what I'm saying? But, and then they always go to, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But did King David live by that sword? He had a sword. Yes, he lived by Yahweh.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Yahweh directed that sword.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he said, what he said in verse 37.
Yes, sir.
David said, moreover, Yahweh that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and Yahweh be with thee.
See, even the king recognized that.
See.
King, he heard that testimony.
Yeah.
He used that term testimony. No, that's Christian use that. No. That was a statement of faith.
That's right.
He made that statement. And the spirit is going on. So Saul he's always anointed too. He's listening.
So was he arrogant, Ella?
No, not at this point.
See,
No.
there's a difference.
He's confident. There's
confident.
arrogance and confidence.
You
is
mean
two different
David?
things.
Right?
Yeah.
No, David, no, he's not. Yeah,
But some would misinterpret it as that.
No.
always.
You just know what you know.
Always. There's always going to be people that are going to misinterpret your faith. But what did you just read, Brother Mikael? We get put in this box that you have to be humble.
Right.
So because if you show too much confidence, somebody's going to say, "Oh, he's arrogant."
Right.
I think you just read something to that effect.
Yeah.
So you try to play down your confidence.
Yes.
Try to play
Dim
down
your
your
light.
speed.
You want to dim your light. But Yahweh gave you a light, but you're going to dim it. Did Yahweh tell you to dim my light for them folk?
He said, "Let it shine, sir."
Yeah. But be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. So use your light correctly.
That's right.
Praise God.
Praise Yah. Go. All right, we'll continue.
Verse 38. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put his helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them.
Right.
And David put them off him. And he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine, verse 41, and the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. Praise him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth, and ruddy, and of a fair countenance.
There right there. There right there. The element of surprise. Underestimating your opponent.
You're right.
Like Yehuda, would you like to touch on that? Like, some folks you don't play with. Some folks have one option. They not gonna wrestle with you, and it's not like we're trying to live righteously, but just like in the Ten Commandments, it's thou shalt not murder, it's not kill. If I'm defending myself, like, there's a difference. People need to, like, I'm not gonna be a sitting duck.
That's true.
I'm not gonna be a sitting duck because I need to go home with children. I have people to, like, they need me.
Right.
You know, so I'm gonna make sure I get home.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
You're right. You have to be willing to. You don't know the other man's perspective. You're playing, but he might see, well, I have to ramp this thing up to another level of violence. It's a defense because you're a giant, you're big, strong, and you're being overly aggressive. So what does the person do? So you put your life in your own hands. And so Yahweh has to either put a shield or put a hedge around you to tell you, leave that man alone. You know, my brother always told me growing up, it doesn't matter how tall or big they are, but if they start something with you, I don't care if they're, I'm not going to use the term, they can be a little person, but if they start it, you go at them. It don't matter, because you don't know, you're assuming they can't fight. You're assuming they can't do you any harm. But if they don't bother you, you don't bother them.
Yeah, just leave. I remember one time.
Leave them alone.
You know, I remember one long time ago, before the truth, I went to this club with this young lady, and then like he just seen my size and just thought I was somebody. He was like, man, you gotta be somebody. So then he like, man, you big, man. Hey man, I wouldn't fight you. I'll pick up a chair. I said, I'll pick up a chair on you. I don't want to be bothered. Like, I'm here to have fun. That's gonna piss me off.
Right.
like really, like, it's not about like a fair fight.
No, exactly.
What's a fair fight?
Exactly. I don't know. I never been in a
I don't know.
Oh, y'all on camera.
No,
All right, Obi Reed.
But
They
you
talking
know
like they
I
got
don't
one.
know.
You know what? One thing I know,
Oh, shit.
I don't start a fight unless I can't end it.
Well, I think
Okay.
a fair fight is feudalism. What they call boxing? The official term. That's a fair fight.
Yes.
You got a referee. You go to your corners. That's not a fight to the death.
No.
That's a game. It's a sport. They can hurt you, but they're not fighting.
That's not a fight. That's a sport.
That's fair.
No, that's
But
a
it's a
sport.
but it's a fair fight because it's a
Y'all gonna
regulated.
start fighting now?
Yeah, it's a regulated. It's regulated.
No.
It's a regulated sport.
Yeah.
You have to tell me, don't trouble nobody, but don't let nobody trouble you.
Yeah.
That's true.
I won't trouble anybody.
Why would you?
Right.
So if you start a fight, make sure you're geared up to go to the very end. And I'm talking about giving up your life too. That's how you fight. That's what David was all about.
That's exactly right.
When he's going into the game or into a fight, he's going to go all the way to the very end.
Oh yeah, we know what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead, Obi, continue.
Yes, sir.
Oh, just pointing out, like, and that's why I said he was short, fair. Let me read that again. And when the Philistine looked, 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 42. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he was disdained. He disdained him, for he was but a young man, ruddy. And let me point out that ruddy, because I'm pretty sure that there's some Hebrew that's seasoned in the word that, like, look up that word ruddy, because Esau is also in the concordance compared as ruddy. So this color thing, like, come on. Oh, and then he said, and a fair countenance. Because you remember, like, they say, what they said, Saul did this, but David did this. Killed, like, it was like, but he was a man for the people. People gravitate to you. But go ahead, continue.
Yes, sir. Verse 43. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then David said to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield.
Right.
But I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will Yahweh deliver thee into my hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee. And I will give the carcasses
of the host, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is an Elohim in Israel.
Wow. That's a
Praise
statement
Yah.
there.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
And all this assembly shall know that Yahweh saveth not with sword and spear,
Uh-oh.
for the battle is Yahweh's, and he will give you into our hands.
Praise
Oh,
Yah.
so it's a fixed fight then.
It's fixed fight.
So if you, the way I look at this verse, if you put all your trust in Yahweh, putting all your trust in Yahweh, it's obeying him. It's no different than the Father. He got you. He got you. That's why one thing would be, I'm not no tough guy, but I'm not going to take my tail in for something I stand for. We would gonna die. Like, I know, because if you tuck your tail in for one person, you got to continue to do. You got to stand for something, or you fall for anything. Like if you truly believe on what you stand on it.
That's right.
What you gonna tuck your tail in for? Stand on it.
That's right, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why you don't say nothing that you're not willing to stand on.
That's a good point.
You see what I'm saying? But
Teach, brother.
go. Oh no, I'm not no teacher. Don't do that. I'm giving my perspective. I've been taught by the very best elders sitting right here.
Well, you know what?
I'm giving my
You
perspective.
still can teach.
Nah, they're gonna
your
learn.
perspective.
Yeah, no, they're gonna learn.
So
They're gonna learn through my
lot.
perspective. I'm not
Yeah.
teaching. Go ahead, Obi.
I'm being edified. Go ahead, my brother.
Praise Yah.
Praise God, man.
Yahweh fights our battles, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
That's a great song.
Yeah, that's a great song. Go ahead, though.
And it came to pass, verse 48, and it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag, and took thence a stone, and slain it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine, and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore David ran, and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled.
Yeah, you sent a message.
That's right.
That's how you send a message. Go ahead, continue reading.
Verse 52. And the men of Israel and of Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines, until thou come to the valley and to the gates of Ekron. And the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way of Sheraim, even unto Gath and unto Ekron. And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistines, and they spoiled their tents. And David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem, but he put his armor in his tent.
He prophesied that, didn't he? He's going to do it.
That's right. That's right.
Praise Yah.
Praise
He's a prophet.
And when Saul saw David go forth against the Philistine, he said unto Abner, the captain of the host, Abner, whose son is this? That's right. And Abner said, As thy soul liveth, O king, I cannot tell. And the king said, Inquire thou whose son the stripling is. And as David returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand.
My goodness.
And Saul said to him, Whose son art thou, thou young man? And David answered, I am the son of thy servant Jesse the Bethlehemite.
So right there, we can see that the spirit of a hero, the spirit of a hero is not to glorify himself, it's to do whatever purpose, you know, he's meant to be. And matter of fact, what came and I wrote this, and I'll say this is something I came across, and this is just showing you, some people would take this as disrespect, but this is just the zealous in the youth. And I said, an old man said, erasers are made for those who make mistakes. A youth replied, erasers are made for those who are willing to correct their mistakes. Like, hold on, you missed something now.
Okay.
The weightier, you know how the weightier, like, hold on, you missed something. You know, because you'll keep on using that eraser. What changes? What changes? But the youth are like, hold on,
The perspective.
You know how you said, dang, you know, child, like, were they wrong for saying no? They just like, what's the problem?
Well, okay, anything that doesn't grow is dead. So if you can't be corrected or you can't correct yourself, how do you grow?
Right.
So if you're not growing, I mean, if your growth is stunted,
You understand?
you can be stunted for it.
Yeah.
You understand, so?
And see, that's one of the important things about correction. Like, that's how I get down. Like, if you can't be corrected and you around me, that's a problem, because what are your boundaries? What are you, like, that's dangerous, because I know people, when I talk, people that know, be like, oh, you always take a thing overboard. Yeah, because I need to know what the champion at. Like, if you can't be corrected,
Right.
what are your boundaries?
Right.
Like, let's be honest. What are you know how I think? What are your boundaries? I have
Right.
children, I have daughters. What are your boundaries? If you can't be corrected, and we're showing it to you, and we're support, that's love. Nah, I got an issue with that. That's a problem with me, because now I'm on, like, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? But let's continue. Thank you for reading OB.
But a minute,
yes.
before you go, I wanted to share a little historical thing about
Please.
David, the slingshot. You know, that was a weapon used in ancient times.
Yeah.
But when they could sling those things, it was deadly as a 44 Magnum when they slung.
Yeah.
So they used them.
Damn, a 44 Magnum?
Yes.
Crazy, y'all.
It's not like a slingshot like this.
Mm-mm.
It's a thing,
Yeah.
and they're getting the momentum.
Yeah.
And then you got Yahweh that using that angel.
But
with
you got
more.
you with them.
Yeah,
So
that's
just letting you know about that
right.
weapon.
Yeah.
Yahweh's doing
The
it.
bigger they are, the harder they fall.
But those are things we got to think about. Sometimes we just think about a slingshot, little kid,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
shoot a pebble.
Uh-huh.
But these were lethal weapons used up until the times of the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
The legions used those things. They have guns. So imagine something coming at you like that. Wow. So, but he couldn't imagine this little guy doing that. He didn't have enough strength to do.
Hey,
something.
praise
But the spirit
Yahweh.
was behind him. But I just wanted that's a little historical military note.
Oh no, praise y'all for that for that information, the spirit. I mean, praise y'all. We don't just allow you to just 2 questions and just talk the rest. Hey, Uriah, can you please go to Genesis? We're gonna read Genesis chapter 32, verse 1 to chapter 33 and verse 20. I know it's a lot, but trust me, once you kind of see the story.
Genesis
32.
32.
Wait, Genesis. Well, let me get there.
Yeah, beautiful class, Mary.
Praise y'all. And this is what I want people to get out of this is attitude. Attitude is everything. You know, but Yahweh helped. We'll read about it. Yahweh helped Jacob. You know, when he crippled him, he helped him. But Jacob. Well, let's read. Genesis. Well, we're going to read Genesis chapter 32, verse 1 to chapter 33 and verse 20.
Genesis 32, verse 1. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of Yahweh met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is Elohim hosts." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, and the country of Seir, the country of Edom. Verse 4. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall ye speak unto my Adonai Esau, that thy servant Jacob said thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen, and asses, and flocks, and men servants, and women servants. And I have sent to tell my Adonai, that I may find grace in thy sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him."
Oh shoot! This don't like 400 men. Like, come on, continue to read.
Verse
Something's
7.
about to happen.
Yeah, verse 7. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks, and the herds, and the camels, into 2 bands, and said, "If Esau come to one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape."
So right now he's planning to save his life, and then it goes down the line. But let's see, because he's we'll read, but he's seeking Yahweh, and Yahweh will answer him. But still, he still has that attitude.
Okay. Verse 9. And Jacob said, "O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Isaac, Yahweh which said unto me, Return unto thy country, unto thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant, for with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become two bands.
Look how he's talking to his God. Like, look how he's talking to God. And that's what we need to look at, how we talk to people. I know we get, Yahweh, you can't contain him. He's a spirit. But, like, use that, like, if he's talking to his God like there's something that's good, like, we need to be careful how we talk to people. But don't go ahead, continue.
Verse 11. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hands of my brother, from the hands of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. And thou said, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 49 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals.
And even that, as we read, like, we know what he did. He hustled his brother out his blessing, but he know he messed up, but he's coming correct. He know he messed up. You know what I'm saying? He's not resulting to violence right away. He's like, okay, but he's prepared for violence. Go ahead, continue to read.
Verse 16. And he delivered them into the hands of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servant, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, Who art thou, and whither goest thou? And who are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, They'll be thy servants Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, or my master Esau. And behold, also he is behind us. Verse 19. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the drove, saying, And this manner shall you speak unto Esau when you find him. And say he moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me. And afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company.
Now, verse 22, that's what we're going to read about our forefathers wrestling with an actual angel. But we'll see the purpose of wrestling with that angel, which his prayers will be answered. That wrestling with them. But we'll continue reading, Mael.
Okay, we're in the book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 22. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
Now, right now, Jacob is 60 years old. Go ahead and read. Continue reading.
Okay. Verse 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him.
Now, pay attention. He called. Now, this is an angel he's wrestling, but he called that angel a he. So that angel had to look like a man, look like him. Now, be wrestling a man. All right, go ahead.
Absolutely. Verse 26. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with Elohim and with men, and has prevailed.
Now his name was Israel. Now we know, like in this days of time, like you don't even. It's shameful to call yourself a Hebrew Israelite the way we conducting ourselves on social media. Like let's keep it real. Like I don't even use it. Like I'm slick with it. I said, man, we the children of Israel. Keep it that simple because you all done got so high-minded with this knowledge that you're making it a mockery of yourself. You know, and you don't see yourself. You know, but I'll go. But yeah, we're named after Israel, and just like I tell my kids, like Hebrew Israelite, it's easy to explain. Abraham was called a Hebrew, and what makes us Israelite is because right here, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And then we're descendants of them. Israelite, it's just, that's how it is. This is a history book. You know, but go ahead and continue.
Verse 29. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask that after my name? And he blessed him there.
And one thing I wanted to point out in verse 28, that's kind of symbolic of how we wrestle with the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we know this word, man, we know like you're not in control. Like one of my elders said, you'll understand when you realize you're not in control. But that doesn't mean you just know. It doesn't work like that. That's why you got to continue. Like if you continue, like you got to be careful what you entertain. You got to be careful what you watch. You got to be careful what you listen to. You know, because walking in the spirit is a little easier when you're reading this, when you're around people that read it. You're having conversation. Like we still joke. We connect like you gotta have people that's pouring fresh water into, you know. But go ahead and continue, Mal.
Verse 30. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose up on him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrunk, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrunk.
Continue to read. Chapter 33, verse 1.
Okay, verse 1. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto the two handmaids.
Okay, it's about to get real, but I got to protect my family. Everybody can't be saved. Like I hate to like you reading this. Like I don't want to talk like that because matter of fact, what I talk to my children, and they asked me, I'm talking to somebody, and they put me in the scenario. I said, I would die trying to save everybody. Like I don't, you just, but go ahead and continue to read.
Verse 2. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph in the most. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother.
Now look at that attitude. Now he know what he did. He know what he did, but look how respectful he is. He's not coming to his brother entitled, like, he just wrestled in, like look at this. This can speak on you on Hebrews that like titles. Like he just wrestled an angel and got his name changed, but look at the character. Look at the attitude. He's bowing himself to his brother 7 times because he know he did something wrong. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 4. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, who are those with thee? And he said, the children which Elohim hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaids and the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves.
Like, look at that. Who's the head of that house? Look at the head of the house. Father bowed down first, and look who father did it. I mean, we don't know what happened. We don't really, but let's just assume like they knew what to do. He didn't have to tell them. And that's what's important about being the head of the household. You represent the household, man. Like when I see, like, hey, we don't speak about no one's wives or nothing, but we see things. Children, like we look at that head. Like I don't look at the woman or the children. I look at that head. But I'll continue to read.
Verse 7. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And afterward came Joseph near and Rachel, and they bowed themselves.
Okay, we'll stop by that. But look at that. But see, he learned from his grandfather. Remember, I think Paul talked about how they all was in a tent together. Come on, man. Like what Abraham experienced, even the way he approached his brother, it kind of comparison to Abraham. Where you're like, hey, I pray thee, tell him you're my sister. You know, so save my life. But it's all in attitude. So scars are badges of honor. Every day you either see a scar or courage. When a child breaks a bone, everyone they know will sign the cast. They become the superstar of the class, the survivor. If they fall down and cut themselves, everyone wants to see the scar. They wear it proudly. As we get older, we hide our scars. Our wounds become our secrets. We don't want to be seen as weak or pitied, so we tell no one where it hurts. But children recognize that scars aren't signs of weakness. It's a scar. A scar is a sign of strength and survival, a story to tell, and accomplishments. My Elder Yehuda, can you read? Can you go to Ecclesiastes Chapter 11, verse 1 through 6?
Y'all don't mind me reading now.
I mean, we're trying to bring you in. I mean, we gave you the gold mic. I mean,
I don't know, man. You know,
I mean,
you said
you still got the gold mic, man. We know we're running
you
things.
get 2 comments. I don't know.
Oh, cut your mic off.
You know. We gotta sign you up.
Oh, ring the bell.
We gotta re-enlist you. You might need to go for a refresher. Let me see.
We got you, man.
Chapter 6?
Yeah. No. Ecclesiastes Chapter 11, verse 1 through 6. And just put your mind in rejoicing in life. Just finding the good in life. I mean, we always go through something, and me, I have a different way of handling things, but just think about something positive, like it'll help you in the situation.
And what chapter verses in chapter 6?
Ecclesiastes Chapter 11, verse 1 through 6.
Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7, and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall toward the south, or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of Elohim, who maketh all. In the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thine hand, for thou knowest not whether shall prosper either this or that, or whether they both shall be alike good.
Okay, thank you, my elder. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Try new things. Children are not afraid to play a sport they have never tried before. They will jump on a trampoline, dive into a pool, or ski down a mountain, even if it is foreign to them. As adults, we fear the unknown. We stay safe in our comfort zone and rarely venture out. Adventure us and awakens the spirit. Adventure us awakens spirit. I don't know what else right now. So this said, like, try new things. Like, most of the time, y'all folks, you're boring because, like, try new things. Like, you're miserable because you, like, go out for a walk, man. All these mountains and park, like, do something. Find something. But, Obi, last one we'll address social children. Can you take us to Luke 16? I want you to read one verse. Luke 16, verse 10. because we still need to hear what the big brother had to say, and we're going to get to that.
Yes, sir. Luke chapter 16, verse 10. He that is faithful, verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much.
Thank you. Enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. Notice the little things. We take certain little things for granted that bring children joy and profound inspiration. When do we stop noticing the tiny miracles that surround us daily? How much more beautiful would life be if we would see these miracles again? Who's next to read? Ovi? One of you brothers, I need you to go to Psalms 131, verse 1 through 3. I kind of lost track on who's reading.
It doesn't matter.
It's over.
No, hold it. It's Luke. 131?
Yeah, Psalms 131, verse 1
I
through
didn't
3.
read that much.
Okay.
Psalms 131.
131,
Verse 1 through 3.
verse 1. Read them, Ellie.
I'm good.
Yahweh, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in Yahweh from henceforth and forever.
Okay, thank you, my elder. Yehuda, can you read Matthew chapter 18, verse 1 through 4? Now we're going to get what our big brother has to say. And remember, the title of the class is If I Were Only a Child Again. So there's something we need to learn from children. So let's see what Yahshua, HaMashiach, our Messiah, our Redeemer, has to say.
Gospel of Matthew chapter 18, verses 1 through 4.
Yes, that's correct.
At the same time came the disciples unto Yahshua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahshua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except you be converted, and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, now what I wanted, what the Spirit brought to me in verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble. Now, we've heard that word humble before. But whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now, I want to go ahead and define the word humble. I know they probably saying I'm doing too much, but let's hear the meaning and put it in context. Humble is an adjective. Having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. Use humble in a sentence. He was humble about his stature of one of the greats. So basically his accomplishment didn't mean nothing. He humbled himself. Okay, and another meaning of low social administrator of political rank. So that's also a humble. An example would be the sister came from a humble, unprivileged background. Okay, now humble is also used in a verb. Lower someone in dignity or importance. I knew he had to humble himself to ask for help. Now, one thing that come to mind, and I know we're probably short on time, right? Yeah, but one thing that come to mind is that some people are too proud to ask for help, and when you're too proud, Yahweh will humble you. Now, I want to read Psalms 25, 1 through 10. Now, this is the Psalm of David. I don't want to keep y'all too long.
Psalm chapter 24.
25.
1 through 10.
Yes. Yes, 1 through 10.
Psalms chapter 25, verse 1. Unto thee, O Yahweh, do I put my trust. Verse 1. Unto thee, O Yahweh, do I lift up my soul. O my Elohim, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Show me thy ways, O Yahweh. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth, and teach me, for thou art the Elohim of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Remember, O Yahweh, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me for thy goodness' sake, O Yahweh. Good and upright is Yahweh. Therefore he will teach sinners in the way. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. All the paths of Yahweh are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimony.
Thank you. Thank you, Obi. Verse 9. The meek will he guide in judgment. That's important. You have to be meek for Yahweh to guide you in judgment, and the meek will he teach his ways. Like if Yahweh's not teaching you his ways, you don't have the light. You know. So meekness. Meekness is a quality of being quiet, gentle, righteous, and obedient. I see you sitting there ready to flip the table over. Galatians, can you read Galatians 5, 16 through 26? Please.
Galatians chapter what?
Chapter 5. Hold on. Let me get that. Chapter 5, verse 16 through 26. So what we're reading here is going to speak of walking in the Spirit and also the fruits of the Spirit.
Galatians chapter 5, beginning at verse 15.
16.
16 through 26.
Yes.
Verse 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
So walking in the law. Let's take it in. Walking in the law, you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Continue, Mother.
For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. But if you be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law.
Under the law. Under the law. What law is that?
It's an animal sacrifice.
Exactly. That's all it is. Like the Mashiach, the Messiah, Yahshua, he replaced the animal sacrifice. So now you have to go through him, which is the high priest, to get. That's all it is. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim.
So right there, that's self-explanatory. Like kingdom of Elohim, there's a difference between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of Elohim. The kingdom of Elohim is be on that new earth. That'll be Israel. So the kingdom of Elohim, that's that final destination. Like the kingdom of heaven doesn't mean you're going to live eternally, because you might not. Yah's will, we hope to make it out, but the kingdom of Elohim is what we strive for, and it just lists. Now what my elder's going to read, like that's the fruits of the Spirit. That's what it takes to be Yahweh's servant. You can't be Yahweh's servant without the fruits of the Spirit. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Verse 25, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another.
Now, what's wrong with that? All of this brings peace and love. It pleases the Father. What is wrong with that? But, you know, we struggle with that. And, you know, many people need to reflect to see what other people can see that they're struggling with. But I want to go to Romans 7, Brother Obi, Romans 7, so we can see how to walk in that spirit. You know, because it's just not just a imagination. How do you walk in the spirit? How do you walk in the law? That's basically what it's saying. How do you walk in the law? Let's see.
What verse are we going to, brother?
Romans chapter 7, verse 12 to chapter 8, verse 8.
Chapter 7, verse 12. Yes, sir. Verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. Was that which is made good death unto me? Elohim forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment, might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that I do not. But what I hate, that do I.
So with all that knowledge, Paul was still suffering. He was still suffering. The knowledge just lets him know what he's struggling with. But just because you have the knowledge, I mean, it's all y'all's will. Go ahead, continue to read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. For the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of Elohim after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank Yahweh through Yeshua HaMashiach our Adonai. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of Elohim, but with the flesh, the law of sin.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to point that out, that the connection I was trying to make, because we went here because we was with the fruits of the Spirit, but then to have the fruits of the Spirit, you know, walking in the Spirit ties into the fruits of the Spirit. So I wanted to take that because, like I said, meekness is a quality of being quiet, gentle. Now, quiet and gentle don't mean I'm a sucker, because I'm still righteous. I have structure. I have law, you know. But I had more to give you, but it just doesn't seem it was y'all's will. I pray that everybody was edified by the word, that you got something on this, you know, got a perspective. Just, you know, don't just read words, connect it with something in your life, or whatever. And I pray that, you know, I showed Yahweh that I can be a valuable servant. And, you know, I praise the brothers for the spirit. I mean, I could have done like, that's why you have to surround yourself with brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't reading this book, we look kind of like, what are we doing? You know, man, I praise for the knowledge I received from the place I was at. Like, I wouldn't be there because of that. And praise y'all for the peace, because you can learn more. You look forward to these new moons. You look forward to the Shabbat when it's peace. I don't want to go to a place where there's not peace. You know what I'm saying? Because I can play that card too. Well, why? What am I proving out of that? But just what I wanted everybody to get out this class is, if we could tap in back into as children, children didn't see certain things. Children just lived life, But praise y'all for the class. Praise y'all for letting me stand in for the guy with the gold mic. He'll be back soon, but praise y'all. And again, the title of this class was "If I Were Only a Child," and hope you join the feast. Y'all be with you. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.